Alright, walk and talk video. Yay! Yeah, just kind of a random subject. Yeah, it's not going to be random. But anyway, just junk in my head. Yeah, I got pissed off that Dana Cat Loves Me guy. Dinah Cat, whatever. Yeah, just a snarky comment that somehow, because I'm not accepting that scientists have, essentially proven that, isotopes or whatever, radioactive elements, decay randomly, that somehow I'm religious. Look, they haven't proven that there's no mechanism causing their decay, and that they do it on a regular schedule, and that if you have 1 billion of them, a certain number of them, depending on the half-life, will decay every second by probability. Yes, and so in that sense it's random, but it's not. See, this word random is just broken. You can't use the word random because it's used in too many different ways. There's a difference between something being ordered randomly and something being explicitly, and something for the purpose of human perception, appearing as though there are no patterns, that there's no underlying causation or mechanism producing the result. These are different things. It's almost like the free will argument, as if we can't see our brain create ourselves. So from our perspective, yeah, it's like it comes from nowhere. It just comes from our brain, and so we're going to think it's generated by. I don't want to say we're going to think it because we don't think magic, but you know what I'm saying. That it comes from nowhere. That it comes from us, whatever that is, and it comes from a process. And so anyway, it's just such a bullshit argument. Scientists haven't proven that two atoms are the same. He said identical. No, we have no way to we have no scale to put two atoms on and say, they're identical. There's no such thing. It's like saying humans are all identical from a mile, because from a mile away they all look alike. That's stupid. It's grotesquely stupid. And it certainly isn't enough of an argument to start throwing that religious word at somebody. So fuck you, really. Bogus bullshit. I'm calling bullshit. I'm not going to tolerate that kind of crap. You want to post a comment that fucking idiotic? Then fuck you. Yeah, that's all I got to say to you. I've been reasonably polite, and I don't post that kind of crap on your videos. So fuck you. Anyway, enough of that. That's not the subject I wanted to talk about. But it's this whole brain thing. It's important stuff because sort of related to this is, we have this idea that we're a person, and so Nick is slowly getting started. He's made 2 videos just sort of explaining that our senses are kind of mechanical devices. They just stuff goes in, jiggles some crap around, little electrochemical signals go bashing about in our brains, representing what took place. And accurately, generally speaking, representing it. It doesn't add stuff, it does subtract noise, probably. Over billions of years, our brain probably automatically cleans, some of the crap, some of the noise out. But anyway, the background stuff that it knows doesn't produce any useful information. So that's probably why our hearing is limited to a range, and why our eyesight's limited to a range, is because the information is more valuable in the range we're seeing in, or hearing in, or feeling in. So anyway, it wouldn't do us much good just to be able to tell the difference between 2,000 degrees and 5,000 degrees. Yeah, it's just really, that's not going to come in handy too often. So yeah, we don't do that. Alright. So it's like I said, it's kind of a slow start. But this is the whole point, is you really have to do this, the truth of the world kind of thing. I did a series of videos, basically just going start to finish through what you need to know. The only important truth that exists. The top important truths, let's say. I don't know if it's the only, but just leading to the most important conclusions, the most important declarations or statements of fact you can make about our existence and what the fuck we're doing here and all that crap, and what we can make out of it. And I guess that's sort of what we're trying to do in a conversation about the brain. It's just to point out that the whole thing is a contrivance of your brain. That, there's nothing. Your brain is just a machine that makes the body work to do this reproducing thing. That's the end game. That's why you're here. It's because you satisfied that criteria of consumption and reproduction. I would add that yes, you're cannibalizing just because of time on the planet. Yes, we've decided to eat our relatives because it's a way to get a meal. It's an efficient way to get a meal. And yeah, nobody, as long as we're mightier than them, that's all that counts. And yeah, it doesn't hurt our genetics because our genetics is in competition with their genetics. So it's to our advantage to eat them genetically. But that's not the important thing. Like I said, the important thing is the body is basically this replicator of a DNA molecule. Now the brain is just an operator. It's a little bit of a program that tells it what to do. If you bang into the wall, turn right. You bang into the wall again, turn left. Or you bang into the wall 3 times, turn left. I mean, simple logic can get a mechanism through. It can get it to navigate. So our brain could recognize just 2 or 3 things. It could say, path, follow path, follow path. And we could do that. Or we could be like some other animal, we just follow a scent. And we'd just be completely motivated by following smells. But yeah, ours has gotten a little more elaborate. So we got these senses, like most mammals, and then we got this. The problem's going to be is how to describe the contrived senses, the manufactured senses of our mind. Okay, so we got the feeling, touch, eyes, hears, taste, which is the same as smell, and then we got this other thing that creates this stuff like guilt, love, hate, or more simply affection, aggression. These motivating emotions of fear and attraction, desire, and so we call that like a 6th sense. But I'm going to argue that then we have to have a 7th sense, which would be the thinking machine, the logic machine, that models what's out there, throws the past in with the future, in with the present. It has an imagination to do the future thing. So it runs little models in its head, sees scenarios, sees possibilities, adds, subtracts, multiplies, and comes up with an end desire. So the 7th sense communicates with the 6th sense, creates and stimulates these other emotional sensations of need, a hunger, a force of attraction or a force of repulsion to enhance our navigation. So now we're just not following a scent trail, we're following it with knowledge that there's enemies about, with knowledge that there might be food, or there might be sex, or there might be some other prize. In our cultures, those prizes become, how can I, break the other guy's leg so I can get more food and more women, that kind of bullshit, the little scheming crap. But that's the mechanism here. Yeah, I really don't want to step on Nick's process here, but yeah, it's just a little too slow, too tedious. And this isn't, I'm not laying this out in any kind of precise manner, so there shouldn't be a conflict. But yeah, that's what our brain is doing. It's just contriving a world for us to live in. It's more complicated than what's here. Because just this wouldn't do anything. Our brain has to turn this into a more elaborate world where there is things to chase, where there is the gingerbread and the boogeyman's of have integrity, be a man, pride, all these other things that are manufactured by our brain. So I don't want to go with that. But I mean, this is a tricky... The dynamic is, again, this suffering thing, which sort of relates to Fred's video about this falling idea, which I can't really relate to this, but he did mention the whole idea of gravity. And that's sort of what this is that, you know, if you look at gravity, what is it? It's almost like matter needing. It's like matter gets together and decides it needs more matter. And, you know, it just endlessly reaches this invisible tentacle out into space, theoretically forever, saying, I want. And the closer it is, and the more grabbable it is, the stronger that want will be, the stronger the effect will be. You know, the closer the woman gets, the stronger your sense of desire might get, kind of a thing. That's almost the inverse. But anyway, it doesn't matter. But the point is yeah, that's the irony of this, or it's not irony, it's just the curiosity, is that we are sort of mimicking what is kind of fundamental to matter, in that we are doing this attraction thing. We also have the repulsion thing, which doesn't really have a universal parallel. But yeah, I mean, you can just see that but that's all we're doing. And no one sits there and glorifies gravity. Says how brilliant that gravity want thing is. What a fantastic mechanism. Oh, just think how stupid the universe would be if there wasn't any gravity. You know, if the matter didn't need matter, yeah, you wouldn't bother with such nonsense. And so when you have to look at us, you'd have to argue the same thing. This wanty thing is just a contrivance. So anyway, that gets back to, somebody left a comment, well, in my video saying, you know, why don't you talk about VR anymore? And yeah, I'm still, look, if human race is still going to be here 100 years from now or 200, you know, I think the only solution is virtual reality. It's the place to be. But yeah, you just don't see it happening. I mean, the human race is just not going to grow up. I mean, I watched that Thunderfoot thing with that crazy Baptist church people or whatever, and you're just like, yeah, nuke this, it's a bug planet. I mean, these human beings are just too stupid. We got to make a deal with the Muslims just to kill the Christians, because they're damn out of their minds. You know, and then later we can break our contract with the Muslims and kill them. But you can't. There's no way of coexisting with these lunatics. These in your business, I'm going to tell you what you must value in your personal life, assholes that have no philosophical integrity, reading out of their book of, you know, whatever, Gretelology. I mean, it's just Daffy Duckology. It's crazy motherfuckers. So anyway, but yeah, that's why I don't talk about it. Is what hope is there here? There's no hope. I mean, you have to do these things on purpose. I said that before. Virtual reality ain't going to work if Google controls it. All right? So unless we do it on purpose and do it right, it'll be a failure. So fuck it. And there's no chance we're going to do anything till we force these assholes into some sort of demonstration of their lying, conniving stupidity. Yeah, we need to MRI everybody and just label them retarded, liars, pricks, fuck shits. I mean, whatever the fuck they are, whatever the machine says they are, stamp it on their fucking heads. Because this world ain't gonna function letting these idiots control it. It's just too depressing. Too depressing! I said it again, too depressing. So, now where do I go? Virtual reality. Yeah, well, the end game is the suffering thing. That's the... If it wasn't for that, you could say, who cares? Let it... Well, fuck, who cares? Who cares what the silly little animated matter is up to. Let it eat and consume and kill and cause all kinds of messes. But the suffering is what makes them. You can't even have the word mess without it. It's critical. And unfortunately, it's not acceptable. It's a big, fat, ugly red number. And unfortunately, there's nothing you can do with your little silly soap opera aspirations of addiction and desire to make up for it. Oh, and this gets to the other thing, intuition. That's what Fred was talking about. So I did want to talk on that, so I'll have to walk slower. Because yeah, this idea that your people, Fred said it right. He just said it, so I think it could be misunderstood. I mean, intuition is great when you have a qualified intuition. When your intuition has been built by experience, like a juggler's muscle memory is very skillful. He doesn't think about juggling, he just juggles. And so yeah, if you have training and experience, your intuition is going to be good. But if you're just some asshole, has some ragbag, potluck bag of experiences, your intuition can be shit. And you're going to need to think before you do. And so yeah, you could have the intuition that something's worth it. And then you could think about it. You could just stand still and say, I'm going to think about this for a little while. And you could figure out, oh yeah, it's made out of complete shit. My satisfaction will be entirely temporary. It won't be a lasting solution to the problem. And yeah, you could realize that your intuition is crap. That a good thing is actually going to be a huge liability and a big preposterous waste of time. So thinking's a good thing. It's always going to be better than intuition for anybody but people who are using a qualified first impression. I mean, the judging the book by the cover thing is not very reliable unless you've looked at zillions of books. Well, at least a few hundred. I mean, you can definitely judge movies by the title. That works pretty reliably. There's very few stupid movies that have great titles, and very few great titles that are stupid movies. Well, more one than the other. I mean, there's a lot of, bad movies with good titles. No, there's a lot of, well, anyway, most bad movies have bad titles. Something like that. Most bad titles are bad movies. That's the way to put it. Alright, anyway. Now, it's enough of a video. Yeah, so there's lots of subjects here. I gotta do videos on other channels about other things and all that crap, but I gotta get time. And I think it's probably worth just doing another one of the, let's just run down the facts kind of videos series, but we'll see. Look, the truth isn't that complicated. We really ought to be able to say it in a couple of hours. We really ought to. But anyway, till next time.